Japanese SUVs have always been the safe choice, but Chinese SUVs are showing up with features and prices that make people hesitate. A lot of buyers are torn between what they know will last and what looks like a crazy good deal. This is Scott from CarlandTV, and today I'm lining up Japanese and Chinese SUVs at the same price points to see which ones actually make sense once you live with them. But first, do me a quick favor. Tap that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. It ain't required, but those clicks keep this thing rolling and make it easier for me to keep dropping solid car content straight to your screen. Now let's get back into it. Toyota RAV4 versus MG HS. Toyota RAV4 and the MG HS both land in that normal people money zone, but they're built around totally different assumptions. The RAV4 is basically Toyota saying, here's the boring answer that still works at 120,000 miles. The MG HS is more like, here's the feature list you wanted. And yeah, we know you're side-eyeing the badge, so we'll throw a long warranty at it. On the Toyota side, the gas RAV4 runs a 2.5-liter four-cylinder rated around 203 horsepower and 184 pound-feet, usually paired to an 8-speed automatic. Fuel economy sits roughly in the high 20 seconds combined, depending on trim and drivetrain, which is solid for a non-hybrid compact SUV. Safety is not a guessing game either. The RAV4 platform has been put through the grinder by IIHS, including the newer, tougher side impact evaluation, and it scores well overall. Toyota's driver assist suite has consistently tested strongly in pedestrian crash prevention scenarios. The point is simple. Parts availability is everywhere. Independent shops know it, and resale is stupid strong because people trust what they've already seen survive. The MG HS is a different pitch. First, quick correction for Western buyers watching from the U.S. or Canada. You're not walking into a local dealer and buying one right now because MG isn't selling cars in the U.S. market. In the UK, Australia, and other Western markets, the HS is absolutely a real cross-shopper, and it's competitive on paper. Recent HS specs in the UK list a 1.5-liter turbo gas engine around 169 PS, with manual or a dual-clutch automatic, plus a plug-in hybrid version that pairs a gas engine with a stronger electric motor and a bigger battery for meaningful electric-only driving in city use. Safety is also not the weak spot people assume. The newer HS has earned a 5-star Euro NCAP rating with strong adult and child occupant scores, and it comes loaded with modern driver assists. The trade-off is the stuff you only learn later. Resale is still a question mark versus Toyota, and the dealer network and parts pipeline depend heavily on where you live. That's the theme right there. One of these wins by being proven, the other wins by being loaded. Put that mindset in your pocket, because it gets even messier when the nice interior for the money crowd starts shopping for the next pair. Mazda CX-5 versus Chery Tiggo 7 Pro. Mazda CX-5 versus Chery Tiggo 7 Pro is the matchup for people who care about cabin vibe and daily comfort, but still want something that does not fall apart. The second life gets messy. One of these feels like it was tuned by someone who actually drives for fun. The other feels like it was tuned by someone who hates being under-equipped. With the CX-5, the hardware is straightforward and proven. The standard 2.5-liter makes 187 horsepower and 186 pound-feet, and Mazda still uses a 6-speed automatic, not a CVT. Turbo trims step up big, up to 256 horsepower and 320 pound-feet on premium fuel, or 227 and 310 on regular. That torque hits low, so it feels punchy around town without needing to redline it. Safety-wise, IIHS crashworthiness scores are strong across the board, including the updated moderate overlap and updated side test, so the structure is doing its job. The funny part is the driver assist story is mixed. Pedestrian front crash prevention can rate well, but IIHS vehicle-to-vehicle front crash prevention for the standard system has been rated poor for the current run, which is a real-world reminder that it has AEB does not mean it's class-leading at AEB. Tiggo 7 Pro is where the, wait, this is how much and it comes with all that? Reaction happens. Quick reality check for you. Viewers. Chery is not selling Tiggo 7 Pros in the United States, so this is a Western market comparison mainly through places like Australia and parts of Europe where Chinese brands are actually on the lot. Spec-wise, the Tiggo 7 lineup varies by market. You'll see a 1.5-liter turbo around 108 kilowatt and 210 newton meters with a dual clutch, and you'll also see higher output 1.6-liter turbo versions around 137 kilowatts and 275 Nm paired to a 7-speed dual clutch. Safety is not a punchline here either. ANCAP gave the Tiggo 7 Pro a 5-star rating under the newer 2023 to 2025 criteria, with strong adult and child occupant scores plus a lot of standard active safety tech. Chery also backs it with a 7-year unlimited kilometer warranty in Australia, and service intervals are set up like a normal modern SUV, not a science project. So yeah, the CX-5 wins on driving feel and a long track record, and the Tiggo 7 Pro wins on features, warranty coverage, and how is this even the price energy. Once you start caring about family hauler space and mainstream buyer priorities, the next matchup gets way more personal. Honda CR-V versus Geely Monjaro. Family SUVs are where people stop chasing vibes and start caring about whether the thing just works every single day. That's why the Honda CR-V exists in the first place. It's built for people who do not want surprises, and honestly, that's the whole appeal. I've always looked at the CR-V as the SUV you buy when life is already busy enough, and the car is not allowed to add stress. Mechanically, the gas CR-V keeps it simple with a 1.5-liter turbo making 190 horsepower and 179 pound-feet, paired to a CVT that's tuned to stay calm, not clever. The hybrid is the real workhorse, though. Honda's two-motor system makes 204 total horsepower, but what actually matters is the 247 pound-feet from the electric drive motor. That torque is there immediately, which is why the hybrid feels stronger than the gas version in city traffic. EPA ratings sit around 40 mpg combined for all-wheel drive hybrids, and that's not lab magic. Owners regularly see high 30 seconds without babying it. Safety is solid but not flawless. IIHS still gives the CR-V top safety pick status, strong side impact results, and good pedestrian crash prevention. At the same time, the updated moderate overlap front test scored poorly, which caught a lot of people off guard. That doesn't make it unsafe, but it does mean Honda didn't ace the newest test the way people assume it would. It's a reminder that reputation doesn't automatically equal perfection. Now, the Geely Monjaro comes at this from a totally different angle. This thing is not shy about size, weight, or presence. Built on Geely's CMA-based architecture, the Monjaro runs a 2-liter turbo pushing around 235 horsepower and roughly 350 Nm of torque, paired with an Aisin 8-speed automatic. Some markets get intelligent AWD with BorgWarner hardware, and it shows in the way the power goes down. No rubber band feel, no drama, just shove. Inside, it feels closer to a premium crossover than a mainstream family SUV. Triple screens, heavy doors, thick seats, and materials that make you double-check the price. Safety ratings back it up too. CNCAP gives it 5 stars, and Geely openly talks about high percentages of high-strength steel in the structure. On paper and in person, it feels serious. The split here is simple but uncomfortable. The CR-V is boring because it's already proven. The Monjaro feels impressive because it still has something to prove. Once efficiency and traction start becoming priorities instead of screen size, that contrast starts to matter a lot more. 2025 Subaru Outback versus BYD Seal U DME. Cold mornings, bad roads, and weather that ruins plans are where the Subaru Outback makes sense without trying to impress anyone. I've always seen the Outback as a tool first, not a statement. Standard all-wheel drive is baked into the platform, not an add-on, and Subaru tunes it for stability instead of theatrics. The 2.5 flat-4 sits at 182 horsepower, which sounds sleepy until you realize the torque delivery and gearing are set up to keep traction consistent, not chase numbers. Step into the 2.4 turbo, and you're looking at 260 horsepower and 277 pound-feet, which actually moves when the car is loaded with people and gear. CVT jokes aside, Subaru's latest tuning keeps revs in check during steady driving, and that matters when you live in this thing. Safety is a core part of why people keep buying these. The Outback has strong results in modern side impact testing, and EyeSight has been one of the more reliable camera-based driver assist systems in the real world. It is not flashy, but it works in rain, snow, and grime, which is kind of the whole point. Fuel economy sits in the mid to high 20 seconds combined, depending on trim, and yeah, the Wilderness burns more gas because taller tires and extra weight are not free. The BYD Seal U DMI comes from a totally different mindset. This thing is designed around efficiency first, and BYD does not mess around with batteries. The Blade battery uses LFP chemistry, which is more stable long-term and less sensitive to heat than older lithium setups. In daily driving, a lot of trips can be done on electric power alone if you actually plug it in, Then the gas engine handles longer runs without range anxiety. Output varies by market, but even the higher trims stay focused on smooth torque delivery, not fake sportiness. Euro safety testing puts the Seal U in solid territory, and the interior tech is stacked compared to most mainstream crossovers. The trade-off is support. Dealer networks, parts availability, and resale depend heavily on where you live, and that's not a small footnote. Grip and durability versus efficiency and electrification sets the tone here, and once brand perception enters the chat, the next comparison gets a lot less forgiving. Lexus NX versus Nio ES6. Luxury compact SUVs are where people pretend they're buying the best of everything, then get mad when the real world collects its fees. Lexus NX is the safe luxury move because it's basically Toyota engineering wearing a nicer jacket. Nio ES6 is the future-arrived early move, assuming your market actually supports it and you're cool with being the beta tester with a nice interior. With the NX, I care less about the badge and more about the powertrains that have already been living in the wild for years. The NX 350 hours hybrid is rated at 240 combined horsepower and 39 mpg combined on the EPA cycle, which is strong for a luxury crossover that still feels quiet and planted. The plug-in NX 450 hours plus is rated for 37 miles of EV range and 84 miles per gallon equivalent combined, so short commutes can be mostly electric if you actually plug in. Reliability-wise, Lexus has a long track record of hybrids aging well, and the warranty coverage is the kind of boring, predictable thing that makes ownership easy. Safety is also a real advantage here. IIHS lists the 2025 Lexus NX as a top safety pick, which means it meets the newer crash and headlight requirements that knock a lot of vehicles off the list. Add the dealer footprint and parts pipeline in North America, and the NX becomes the "I don't want weird surprises" luxury option. My only sarcasm for the NX is that Lexus will still happily charge you luxury money for options that should have been standard 5 years ago. Now the ES6. Quick correction. Nio does not sell the ES6 in the U.S. So for a Western audience, this is more a Europe and global market reference, not a U.S. showroom cross-shop. Still, the hardware is legit. Nio's own specs call out 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, dual motors, and battery options like 75 kWh and 100 kWh, with even bigger packs offered in some configurations. Third-party spec databases line it up around 360 kilowatts and 700 newton meters for the dual motor setup, which explains why it jumps off the line like it's annoyed. Nio also points to 5-star Euro NCAP and C NCAP safety results. This matchup comes down to support and risk tolerance. The NX is the luxury SUV that holds value because the whole ecosystem is built for it. The ES6 is the one that feels crazy advanced right now, but the long-term math depends on charging access, software support, and how your market treats resale once the newness wears off. That's the exact kind of problem buyers run into when premium starts meaning expensive to fix.